Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with Weekly Comic Roundup. We've covered this week's X-Men books as well as the new issue of Star Wars. Now it's time to move on. Kicking things off, we've got Miles Morales Spider-Man number 11, continuing the Blood Hunt storyline. Where we left off after a initial session with Doc Sasquatch, Miles had to deal with, running from being chased by Hightail throughout Brooklyn. He managed to shake him and get home, and while taking out the trash was attacked by what appeared to be a vampire, who was being hunted by Blade and his daughter, Bloodline. So we pick up right where the last issue left off. Blade explains that these particular vampires are leeches, basically. They, as they're the basic idea is that they're leeches that feed off biological energies. If energy vampires are dogs, then these are wolves, and people know them as batteries to them. Apparently their king, Ramir the Insatiable One, can't be killed but only contained. So he sends out his drones to drain humans and bring them back to feed on. Apparently he had been causing problems in Atlanta. Blade and Bloodline chased him out and have been tailing off the East Coast for the past week. Blade has an artifact to contain Ramir, and uses some of the magics that he's learned over the years to basically give Miles his own vampire hunting costume, which honestly looks pretty rad. Anyways. Miles and Blade talk a bit, with Miles explaining he's been working on evolving his spider sense alongside his detective skills, and that Misty Knight's been shown on the ropes, though Misty Knight teaching him doesn't exactly instill Blade with confidence. They note that the vampire that they've dealt with outside the Morales home worked for the MTA, and so they probably use the subways. They find another vampire, chase him down into an abandoned subway, and find Ramir. Blade, Miles, and Bloodline fight Ramir, while Hightail tries to pick up the trail of Miles, finding some webbing, and crashes the party just as Blade is speaking the incantation to contain Ramir. Ramir is actually impressed with Hightail's speed and decides to try and turn her. And while Blade simply states that, well, she's being turned, she's got to be killed, Spidey's not exactly down with that. But Hightail does get branded by Ramir. And the issue ends with her vamping out against Miles, Blade, and Brielle. Honestly, I'm digging this story. I do enjoy the fact that honestly both Marvel and DC do try to have horror adjacent stories for their larger properties during October, around the last few months of the year, especially in October. So I'm game. Moving on though to our next book, we've got Spine-Tingling Spider-Man #1. So at the end of Spine-Tingling Spider-Man, Peter had saved New York once again, and so issue 1 starts off with a fight between Spider-Man and Spider-Side, one of the various clones from the Clone Saga, who was long thought dead, but turns out wasn't. But lately, Spider-Man's been basically trying to, tell him, he's actually a fairly lucky guy. So people appreciate what he does and care about him, and he has a roof over his head. But he goes home, lays down, and wakes up, shot by the NYPD. He's being accused of squatting. The landlord in his building states that he's never seen Peter before in his life. So Peter leaves, calls Aunt May. She doesn't have a nephew. Thinks he's a telemarketer, hangs up on him. Calls MJ, no answer, and then walks towards her place. MJ doesn't know him either. He escapes from some people that see him as some rando harassing a young woman, and leaps into a construction site, only to discover that his powers are gone. He's hurt, but he calls the Avengers. Doesn't have authorized access. Fantastic Four. Nope. He gets a text. Actually wants his life back. So he meets at the Grand Central Track 31 at midnight. Apparently the same the same villain from Spine-Tingling Spider-Man #0 is waiting for him. And so Peter deals with him, or tries to deal with him. Realizes, though, that the guy's not trying to kill him. He's playing with Peter. Peter escapes, finds a couple of giant warthogs in suits eating a feast of human body parts. But Peter continues to run through the subway train, dealing with the conductor itself as well as the passengers, all telling him not to let him catch you, and that is where the issue ends. Interesting start. I wish I could remember the name of the villain from Spine-Tingling Spider-Man #0, but and for some reason there was no previously about Spine-Tingling Spider-Man #0. So yeah. Anyways, moving on to our next book, we've got Daredevil #2. Where we left off, Daredevil was back from Matt Murdock was back from the dead, and he was now he was a priest working at a youth shelter in Hell's Kitchen. Turns out that youth shelter is being secretly funded by Elektra. But Matt puts on his Matt goes to talk with Elektra. Apparently, though, she's been possessed, and he's able to exorcise the entity from her. As he returns to the youth mission, the police are waiting for him. Apparently, there are rumors that Matt is basically using the kids as a crime ring. Allegations have emerged about the St. Nicholas Community Center. As I said, a social media account called Reveal All Devils claims that there's a training ground for teen criminals. They want to look around, but Matt basically says, sure, if you got a warrant, which they don't. And, well, Matt wants to go out and hit something, and so he suits up and goes after, and, comes upon a gang shootout. Takes down a new crew taking on one of the established gangs. Takes down the new crew. Notes that the police show up rather quickly. I'd almost guess that the Heat will be revealed to be a rogue group of cops. One of the kids, the next day, one of the kids at the community center is being picked on by his classmates about dead parents. Matt talks to him and basically brings up his spirits. Then the kids go to watch I guess the Child's Play remake in the community center while Matt thinks about everything and talks to God about what's going on. But he does some investigating into the social media account, Reveal All Devils, discovering that it's being run by none other than Ben Urich. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting. Best guess of this is maybe Ben's trying to get Matt to go back to being Matt Murdock, like Matt Murdock proper, not just mysterious Father Matt. But I don't know. Let's see what plays out with it. Moving on though to our next book, we've got Ghost Rider number 19. Where we left off, Talia Warroad's past is being brought to light, including her time as a teenager with the Cult of Mephisto, a cult which has made its reappearance. Talia wants to deal with this, and of course Johnny wants to help her. They go to a crossroads, and the rider is summoned, and Talia wants to know where the Cult of Mephisto worships from. The rider's left her with a kind of demonic navigation bio app that'll show them the way. We also have an interlude in the past where Dr. Strange shows up at the Warroad home, finding basically trying to figure out what she's learned of the mystical arts, and apparently the Cult of Mephisto had targeted Talia's parents. In West Virginia, Johnny and Talia come to a roadblock on a major highway. While there are 2 police cars present, no one's actually there. There's also a bloody handprint on the windshield of one of the police cruisers. In the town of Burrow, kids in gas masks are killing adults and bringing them to the mine, or rather the pit. Talia is able to save one of them and able to get clear the head of one of them, and finds out that Stefan, her old flame, is running the cult. There's also a brief flashback with Stefan and Talia on the Jersey Turnpike. Basically, just with Stefan being, oh yeah, we issue the rules, the laws, the lanes, but Johnny and Talia make it into the mine and are attacked. Talia manages to get most of the kids out. Talia manages to get the kids out while Johnny goes deep to take down the whatever demon it is they're worshiping. I don't think it's actually Mephisto, but we'll see. That is where the issue ends. It's also noted that sadly these kids will, while they've been saved from the cult, they're still going to have to live with all the things they've done. But moving on to our last book for the moment, we've got Crypt of Shadows. This year's Crypt of Shadows. So we had Crypt of Shadows one-shot last year, October. 4 stories being narrated by Doctor Strange's brother Victor, a ghost vampire trapped in a mirror. So our four stories, aside from Out of the Shadows, are Brick by Brick, featuring the Scarlet Witch, The Living and the Dead, featuring Deadpool, Without Fear, featuring Daredevil and Man-Thing, The Soul Worth Hunting, featuring the Hulk and Man-Beast. So in Brick by Brick, a home in Slateboro, New York, is burned down in 1985. Apparently, its bricks were born of the first clay dredged from their quarry. But the cursed house has been taking lives. Then at the Hudson View Hostel in Lock Hill, New York, well, the walls are attacking everyone, and the townsfolk are shown to destroy the house. But Wanda stops them and goes to deal with it herself, dealing with the bricklayer. Shows him compassion, and then seemingly destroys the hostel and the bricks. However, elsewhere, another brick glows red, and the threat that the bricklayer shall return is where that story ends. Moving on to The Living and the Dead, at the Buckler Museum of Human History in the Egyptology Department, a necromancer is plundering the flesh of the dead for the power to gain the power of Anubis, and is stopped by the living mummy Nkantu. But Deadpool shows up. The necromancer is his target. He's actually been hired by the League of Necromancers to deal with her. But she gains power. However, Nkantu manages to restrain her so that Deadpool can shoot her. And Nkantu has a message for Deadpool to deliver to his employers. That Zia, this particular necromancer, was only the beginning. And the dead have a protector. That is where the story ends. Brings us to Without Fear. Daredevil's fighting the Hand in the sewers, and comes upon a resident of the sewers, Man-Thing. So Man-Thing and Daredevil team up against the Hand, and Daredevil, being the man without fear, is helped out of the sewer as he's been injured by Man-Thing. rather than burning at Man-Thing's touch. And finally, we have A Soul Worth Hunting. Man-Beast turns into his wolf form and finds a trapped creature, the Hulk. The Hulk has been captured and trapped by Kraven the Hunter, who intends to perform to anoint the Empyrean Blade. And while he fights both Hulk and Man-Beast, Hulk grabs him and throws him elsewhere, causing Kraven to drop his Empyrean Blade. Man-Beast reverts to his human form, though the Hulk stays as the Hulk, preferring himself that way. And the issue itself ends with Victor Strange managing to begin to move through the mirror. With Victor Strange managing to escape, say that he has a story to tell his brother. This was fun. Last year was also quality horror one shot. I enjoyed it a great deal. There was a really neat story with Wolverine, Laura Kinney, and Man-Thing. With basically Man-Thing being manipulated into creating her trigger scent, and then basically for eons in the Nexus of Reality, as the two of them fight it out, because no matter what happens, because Laura keeps healing. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.